Assalamu alaikum, welcome back to my channel, dear brothers and sisters. Joseph Cohen, an Orthodox Jew born in the United States, migrated to Israel in 1998 due to his strong belief in Judaism. He then lived in the Jewish settlement of Gush Katif in Gaza. Israel withdrew from the Gaza Strip in 2005. Cohen never imagined that his move to Israel would actually lead him to the light of Islam. After living in Gaza for 3 years, he decided to become a Muslim after meeting a sheikh from the United Arab Emirates and discussing theology with him over the internet. After converting to Islam, Cohen changed his name to Yusuf al-Khattab. Not long after he recited the Shahada, Yusuf's wife and 4 children followed in his footsteps and became Muslims. Now, Yusuf al-Khattab is actively engaged in Dawah among Jewish communities, even though his own family no longer acknowledges him due to their disapproval of his conversion to Islam. I no longer have any contact with my family. We are not supposed to cut family ties, but my family members are Jews with a strong Jewish identity. We had no other choice but to sever contact for now. The last words they said to me were that I am a barbarian, Yusuf said about his current relationship with his family. He admitted that preaching Islam among Jews is not an easy task. According to him, the first step in introducing Islam is to emphasize that there is only one true methodology in Islam, the one brought by Prophet Muhammad, which was then carried forward by his companions and their successors until today. The best way to prove that Islam is a religion for all of humanity is by providing explanations based on the verses of the Quran, and that the only thing that differentiates people is their piety to Allah alone, said Yusuf. Islam is not a racist religion. We have very strong evidence, the words of Allah and the sayings of Prophet Muhammad. Our struggle is not about hating disbelievers. We fight solely for Allah, to resist those who want to kill us, occupy our land, spread corruption, and impose Western ideologies in our countries, such as the ideology of democracy, Yusuf continued. He stated that the fundamental teachings of Judaism are very different from Islam, with the main difference being in the concept of monotheism, tawhid. According to Yusuf, Judaism believes in intermediaries, and their intermediaries are the rabbis. Jews pray through the mediation of their rabbis. Judaism is a belief system based on human interpretations, unlike Islam, which is based on the Quran and Sunnah. The belief in Islam will never change. No matter where you go, in every mosque around the world, the Quran we hear is the same, said Yusuf. Furthermore, he explained that Judaism, on the other hand, relies on oral tradition, such as the Talmud, which was compiled based on information passed down orally before being written down. According to Yusuf, even the rabbis themselves admit that many things could have been forgotten over time, making the authenticity of these texts questionable. Yusuf revealed that the Torah, as believed by Jews today, has 11 different versions, and the existing manuscripts are no longer the original texts. Alhamdulillah, Allah has blessed us all with a simple religion, where many people can memorize the Quran from generation to generation. Allah has blessed us all with the Quran, said Yusuf. Nevertheless, he believes that dialogue is the best approach in Dawah, especially among the Jewish community. When asked about Jewish groups that claim to be anti-Zionist, Yusuf responded that, both personally and religiously, he does not trust Jews who make such claims. Historically, they have always broken agreements. They even killed the prophets. That is why I never trust them, even though Islam always teaches us to treat them with kindness, he explained. Yusuf emphasized that his statement was not made to defend the Palestinian people or as a Muslim, but rather as his personal opinion. Allah knows best, he concluded. As someone who once lived in a Jewish settlement in Palestinian territory, Yusuf acknowledged the discrimination carried out by the Israeli government against Palestinian Muslims. He himself had been beaten by Israeli soldiers, though not as severely as the treatment those Zionist soldiers inflicted on Palestinian civilians. I am still fortunate. The suffering I experienced is nothing compared to the suffering of our brothers and sisters in Afghanistan under occupation or those in U.S. prison camps in Cuba, Guantanamo, he added with gratitude. Allah grants guidance to his servants, sometimes in the most unexpected ways. Just like Cohen, now Yusuf, who embraced Islam after moving to the Israeli-occupied territory of Gaza. Luna Cohen was born in the city of Tetuan, Morocco, into a Jewish family. At the age of 16, she left her family home in Morocco to continue her studies at the Bet Yaakov Girls' School in Washington Heights, Manhattan, United States. Bet Yaakov is an Orthodox Jewish school known for its racist tendencies. At the age of 18, she decided to marry the man who remains her husband to this day. After their marriage, Luna and her husband moved 3 times between different apartments in Brooklyn, New York, as they never felt truly happy living in the Jewish community there. The couple eventually decided to build their future in Israel. By then, Luna and her husband had been blessed with 4 children, and they finally moved to Israel. When they arrived in Israel, Luna and her family settled in the Jewish settlement of Gush Katif in the Gaza Strip. Luna admitted that she went through a difficult time after witnessing the way of life of the Jewish people in their community. She then asked her husband if they could move to Netivot, a town located about 23 kilometers to the north in the Israeli-occupied Palestinian territories. There, Luna once again witnessed the lifestyle of Israeli Jewish society, which she described as uneducated. Maybe only 1 in a million children behaves well, Luna said. She saw how the Jewish people in Netivot, just like those in the Gush Katif settlement, harbored hatred toward non-Jews, particularly Palestinian Arabs. We saw their actions as selfish and morally wrong. At this point, my husband and I could no longer agree with the attitudes of these Jewish people, said Luna. One day, Luna's husband, who was also Jewish but secular, came home and told her that he had just read the Quran and had decided to embrace Islam. Luna had no idea that her husband had been studying Islam for some time through discussions with a Muslim from the United Arab Emirates, whom he had met while they were still living in the Gush Katif settlement. For 2 years, Luna's husband and his Muslim acquaintance had engaged in deep discussions about Judaism and Islam. Hearing her husband's declaration that he wanted to embrace Islam, Luna was completely shocked. Because in Judaism, we were always taught to hate other religions, she said. However, deep down, Luna had already begun to question these teachings, which she felt were too self-centered. However, her husband was wise and reassured Luna that she could remain Jewish if she did not want to convert to Islam. He then embraced Islam and took the name Yusuf al-Khattab. 2 weeks after her husband embraced Islam, Luna became curious and decided to read the Quran. As she read, she felt that all the questions that had been troubling her were answered within its pages. Moved by this realization, Luna followed in her husband's footsteps and recited the Shahada, officially becoming a Muslim. She chose the name Qamar as her Islamic name. Due to the unfavorable circumstances that made it impossible for them to stay longer in Israel, the newly converted family decided to move to Morocco, Luna's home country, in 2006. Since then, Yusuf and Qamar al-Khattab have been living happily among their fellow Moroccan Muslims, finding true fulfillment after discovering the truth in Islam. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.